Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have some noise in the background, and that is the dryer. I'm trying to go ahead and finish up this series with you guys. I'm about to tie the signatures in, and this is my process of the way that I tie mine in for the most part. Just tag along and we'll get through this. So I'm using file folders as the base of my spine piece. I measured it out to match the length and width of my journal. And so I'm just going to cut that out and use that as my spine piece and template for everything. So that's what I'm doing here. Everything looks good. When I'm making regular books, what I'll do is I'll fold up the book covers to make sure that that spine piece is snug in between and not scrunching up. So what I'm doing now, you guys, this is the way that I get my measurements without measuring. So I'm showing you that I need 3 folds because I have 3 signatures. So I folded this piece in half. And now what I need to do is I need to fold each opposite end in towards that center crease that I've made. That will give me 3 equal parts, you guys. So it doesn't usually take this long. I was trying to go really slow, and so I was playing around with a little extra and fooling with that thing. I'm trying to point out that I have 3 folds now, and I have this light at the back that I thought was going to help illuminate my work area, but it's kind of drowning. It's kind of drowning all the color out. I tried with this micron marker because I wanted something dark to show up on the screen, but I always use a pencil, and I figured that out here really fast. Just go to what you regularly do, and I use this pencil to get my markings for where I need to pop my signatures in. So on those 3 folds that we had, everybody, so I take my ruler and I butt it up against that fold, and then I mark with my pencil. And that is going to be my grid for punching in my holes. Now I have to get 3 holes the opposite direction. So I'm folding that in half. That's my center fold. And I take each opposite end and fold it in towards that center fold. Now these are my 3 folds for that way. So I need to go where the lines form a T, and that's where I am going to place the punch, the hole. So I'm using that ruler to butt it up to get a straight line. So all these areas are equal, you guys, but well, I don't want to be confusing to someone who may be watching this and not as experienced as some others, so I'll leave that alone. But here I'm just punching out all of the holes where the lines make a T. I could have marked an X to show you guys, but I think you can see what I'm doing here. Now I'm just laying it back into the journal, and I'm going to use these clips to keep them tied to the journal. So once you have that, you can go ahead and start punching your holes through your base journal, the spine of your journal. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at where everything is going to fit on these lines, and I am going to go ahead and say it. I don't always use the actual lines that I formed here. I'll cut new lines because um, sometimes my signatures, because I'm not uniform, I don't do it uniformly. One signature may be way larger than the other signatures, and I accommodate with that by increasing the width between my folds. I didn't do that here because I didn't want to confuse anything, and that's going to kind of come back and bite me later in a little sense, but not really because we were limited on the space that we had with this box anyway. So I'm just going through to figure out which thread I'm going to use. This is waxed linen thread I got off of Amazon. I think that large roll right there was $8.99. I did not go with it. I pull out the black linen thread that I got in the kit. That's, I think it was $8 or $9 on Amazon that had all of the pieces. And so I measure my thread 3 times the length of the journal, and then half of that. And then I've said before, I'll go a little bit extra because I'm extra like that. No, you guys, because I don't want to come up short. So I always save those extra pieces and use elsewhere so that I'm not totally wasteful. So I'm just threading my needle here. And I'm making sure that the pages of my signature are lined up nicely, and then I'll punch my 3 holes. Some of you have the blocks that some of you have made that are made out of wood, and some of you use old books. When I first started doing this, I tried using an old book, and that didn't suit me well. So I just use it like this, but I'm careful not to puncture myself with this awl because it's very sharp, you guys. So I have that all there to keep my placement. So I'm going to go in the center hole, and then I'm going to go in the bottom hole. So everything was not lined up because I did not use the paper clips um, from the start. And sometimes even when I do that, for me, sometimes the paper clips still do not work. So anyway, I just go in through each hole individually on the page. So now I've gone through that bottom hole. I bypassed the middle hole, and I'm going to go into the hole at the top. And when you're doing this, I know I'm not the only one who does this all of the time. I am always, not always, but sometimes I'm going through, I put the wrong signature in the wrong column of holes. So always be mindful of that. And I think on the last journal I did, you guys, I had signatures up and down. Oh my goodness, they were going every which way. And I didn't even notice it until I was at the last signature. And I was like, oh my goodness. But I had to change it because, I mean, come on. That was a whole signature. I can, maybe a page or two, but not the whole freaking signature. So I'm going to knot these 3 times. And I do this the typical way. I've not had any problems with my pages or my signature falling out, but I do like the way that Sharon does hers. And when I first started out, I saw people doing it that way, and it's a good idea, but I just decided not to go that route. But there's a way that you loop your needle through to ensure that everything is nice and secure. And so I'll probably watch her video again and incorporate that into my own. This time I think I wise up and try and use the clips, but I need them too. I guess I don't, but I should have used the clip the file folder as well, and I did not. It doesn't look like. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm trying to remember things. I've had this video, oh goodness gracious, for a few days at least. But work and life, I've not been able to edit. So hopefully we can get that done today or tomorrow. Hopefully today. So it's just repetitive at this point. But this is my process, and I told you guys that I would show you the way that I was going to sew the signatures into the journal. So what I'm going to do is the next video will be the final flip of the journal, and I will have highlights of me finishing the journal, just like whatever little extra pieces I may add or whatever. That'll be at the end of the next video. And you guys, I'm so excited to be finally through with this. I'm ready to move on to something else, but I did have a lot of fun. So the these little clips were really helpful. Mostly in part because these pages are pretty simple. They are simple, and there's not a lot of bulk. Just tying them really tight, making sure that everything is secure. These were so neat, you guys. I wish I had sped this up even faster, but we're gonna keep it at this speed. Just repeating steps one and two. And I knew these darn tabs were going to be an issue. They're not an issue, but I didn't want to go through them at all. And it could have been avoided, but that would have been customizing um, my, I don't, what would you call that? My template, my spine piece template for punching the holes in. I would have had to customize that. I hope that the dryer is not too loud in the background, you guys, because I would hate to have to record over this again, which would be another day because I'm tired and I'm ready to lay down. It's pretty late, so hopefully um, this will be okay. And so it's really squishy, you guys. See, we are almost at max capacity, and I don't like the way that the pages, I mean, the signatures are kind of standing up like that for two reasons. We are limited on our space, and the file folders and everything are really stiff. So after I stop dropping everything, I take this purse journal that I was working on and try and use that as a cushion because I didn't want it to go straight from me trying to push it down straight to the table and crack and break the signatures out of that. So I'll have to keep doing that for a few days to try and see if that will help loosen things up a little bit. For now, you guys have a lovely night, a lovely morning, or a lovely evening, wherever you are.